Hello everybody. Our next video comes in again from YouTube. Sent privately. This person's wants to stay anonymous using a different name. So I'm just going to get right to it. It's quite long, so I don't know how long this video is going to go on for. But of course you do because the time's on it at the beginning. Ollie, I live in the LA area. I hope I am sending this as a private message. I am not sure, so I'm using a fake name. If I were assured this would private, I would tell you my real name and phone number. Not necessary ever. I am a scapegoat adult child of two narcs that pretended to the world that they parented me when all they did was severely abuse me. Well, that's what all narc parents do. They always pretend. It was so bad that the neighbors used to call the cops on my mother. I could tell you horror stories about the abuse that I endured at their hands. Horror stories. My mother severely abused my little brother, who my father donned as the golden child at a very young age. He was too scared to tell my father, but she abused him horrendously until he ran away when he was 16. She would pretend to tolerate him in front of my father, but be abusive to him when my father was not around to see. See, that happened a lot. That happened with my wife's mother. My mother, and both her parents were abusive on their own, but her mother was extra added. That's when she got violent. That's when she got sexually abusive. Was when the father wasn't around. My brother always kissed her ass anyway. After I moved several states away over a 20-year period, I went to two shrinks, both of whom told me my home life was the worst parental abuse they had ever heard from their clients. Both therapists diagnosed me with having severe PTSD from childhood abuse. If I had grown up in the 80s or after, I would definitely have been removed from the home. In the 60s or 70s, however, they did nothing about child abuse. I don't think they would have done anything in the 80s either, believe me. It's hard enough to do something now. The cops would just show up and be creeped out and then leave. Well, maybe that wouldn't happen. Jeez. I mean, at this point, if the police see it, they got to say it. They got to do something. So, it has gotten a little better. To this day, I never heard anything in YouTube that even comes close to the sick things my parents did to me. But we all basically have the same scenario. We have chosen scapegoats for parental narcissistic abuse. Narc parents never change. I went no contact with my mother in '94. I never heard from my mother after going no contact from her, except for one time when my father forced her to come visit my place. He was trying to convince me that she was loving and that I was not giving her a chance. She lasted in my home less than 6 minutes. I freaked out. It freaked her out so bad. When she got to my place, she had to practically walk backwards into walls to pretend that she did not see the gold and platinum albums that were hanging on my walls. She would not acknowledge seeing them. I had tried so hard not to laugh. I finally said to her in a friendly voice, "Oh, I know you probably don't realize these are gold and platinum albums I got from my work in the music business." She did not say a word. She refused to even acknowledge them. She was so visibly nervous, not knowing what to insult me for, that she nervously made up a story that she had an appointment and had to run. Right. Narc parents cannot, and will not interact with you in any way unless they can put you down or hurt you in some way. Absolutely true. They will use anything they can, no matter how dumb it is or how obviously untrue it is. They'll throw anything at the wall and hope that it sticks. That's Narcissism 101. When my pervert father died, of course, he left the golden child more than $2 million. I was left zero. Zero. Well, I had made a video about the will. Narcissists in the will, you are never seeing that money anyway. The golden child was used by both parents as a toy with which to abuse me emotionally by both parents. but he was too much of a weak punk to admit it himself, as most golden children are. Spineless little weasels that they are, just like precious my golden child brother. He could not admit to himself that my father was fucked up, because then it would mean that he wasn't really God's gift to the world. So the golden child lives in a pretend world where he overglorifies my father and overlooks many of his sick issues and lack of ethics. Don't they always? Well, he got his money, that's why. The golden child tried to convince me that I deserved the abuse since you were 4 years old, as if he even remembers what was going on in the family when he was 2. You know, my brother said the same thing to me, that I basically brought it all on myself as a child. It's what golden children do. That way he would never have to feel guilty about all the games he played and all the lies he told to further alienate both my parents from me. And isn't the golden child so good at that? Which is why the golden child never really understands when we become adults and we finally snap back at them, because all their bullshit no longer works anymore. And they don't realize we have been carrying around years of hostility towards them. Not because they were the golden child, because they got more, even though that sucked. It's because they perpetuated the abuse. They were an active participant in the abuse, as most of most golden children are. My favorite lie the golden child told my mother. She carries guns on airplanes. They'll say anything. I let the golden child know that when he was 2 years old, he was abandoned by my mother, and that the cops busted our mother as having done that. I went in depth telling him all the details. I am sorry, Windows 10 has so many notifications. But he still continued to suck up to her and to deride me. I had often told him that he was being used as something to upset me. Like if I needed something, they would buy it for him. He would not believe it. When I pointed out the obvious examples of it, he would rage at me. It was so blatant that I figured it out back when I was in high school. It is more than obvious that the golden child turned into the same type of narc that my mother is. Exactly. And this is exactly the same scenario I went through with my brother, warning him of who they are and what was going to happen. And he never wanted to believe it. To the point now he's a narcissist himself. It is more obvious that the golden child turned into than my mother is. Then my brother got permanently, when the golden child turned 16, my father gave him a gold Cadillac for his birthday, and I was told to walk to work. Well, my brother didn't get a gold Cadillac, but he did have a car handed to him, and I had to go and I had to work for 3 years to get my car. He got one just handed to him. Wasn't a gold Cadillac, though. Then my brother got permanently kicked out of school for trying to run a kid over in the parking lot with his Cadillac. The golden child did not even have a job. Don't those golden children have quite a little temper on them when they don't get their way? Don't they? No matter how many times the golden child was arrested for things, he was the prince. He does not work now either, since as a prince, he was left a fortune from my father. Narcs will find any reason to criticize you and try to make you. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, I can't turn these off for some reason. I am a Grammy voter and I have many gold and platinum albums to my name. You can check me out on Google if I give you my real name. So when I became successful in the music business, my parents the artists I worked with and try to make me feel like a failure. Anything was game, even their hairstyle. This is my favorite line from my mother criticizing me in 1982. That band, the Rolling Stones, will be over in a year. I realized a year ago years ago that no matter what artist I was doing something with, that my parents would use that as an excuse to criticize me. If I did something with Streisand, it would be she's a leftist. If it was Pavarotti, he's overweight. I would utterly be ashamed to be seen with them. It was so freeing to figure out what their tactics were. Now, obviously, this person is somebody in the music business and comes from money. But this story should be an example to everybody that this condition is moneyless. It doesn't matter. It can come from anywhere. The tactics are the same. Whether you're getting a gold Cadillac or you're living in a one room place, okay, the tactics are identical. These narcissists are all the same. The story goes on and on and on, and I don't want to read the entire thing because it gets really, really personal. But that's a good place to end it, I think. You get the gist of it. This woman, whoever she is, has obviously been seriously, seriously abused. And like I said, the narcissist always tries to take what you are the best at. Obviously, this woman is musically inclined, and she's got gold and platinum records, and has worked with Pavarotti, the Stones, and Streisand, or whomever. Whomever. It's almost disheartening. On one hand, it's really sad and disheartening, and on the other hand, it's like almost not thank God, because you don't want anybody to go through this, but this is everywhere. This is in a certain economic class, a social class, a race class. This is prevalent throughout everything. And I really feel for this woman. I really do. And like I said, the narcissist will always try to destroy what you're best at. They will attack your strength because they don't want you to succeed. When you succeed, the narcissist bails. So once again, thank you for watching. I'm going to put the link to my GoFundMe again in the description box. Please like and please donate if you can. Share wherever you can. Remember, any donation, if you give a donation and you want me to talk about a specific subject, I will get right to the subject, okay, with a donation to the GoFundMe. I'm going through a lot of your old emails, a lot of your old correspondence, and I'm just going to be producing video after video after, because I think the more of these videos that come out, the more different stories you hear, and the more people you see in different social economic classes in different countries. I mean, this is social economics. You got somebody who's in the music industry. I'm giving you stories. I gave you a story from England, from Australia, a couple from the United States, one dealing with childhood narcissism, bullying. I have all these stories, so I'm going to be going through a lot of your stories. Those of you who thought you sent me stuff in vain, I have a hard time replying to a lot of the stuff. It's very difficult. I find this is a better way to handle it. I actually enjoy this, so it looks like a lot of your correspondence isn't going to be in vain. So I'm going to be trying to get to everything as much as I can. Again, the link to the GoFundMe is in the description box. This is Ollie Matthews. Thank you for watching.